the head with that. So periods, can we describe periods, or would you describe periods as a natural sexual function? That's a decent way of describing it, or not?
Sexual? I wouldn't say
helps
sexual.
you bring kids, right? That's what sexual is.
I'd say it's hormonal. No, the period prepares your body for potentially being fertilized, i.e. getting pregnant, but it's pre-sex, right?
Yeah, I think it lays the ground for sex.
The sexual function is the fertilization and what happens thereafter. It lays the ground for it. I would say it's more of a hormonal preparation than a sexual function.
Okay, because it's obviously linked to fertility and...
Yeah, but you continuously have your period, assuming you're one of the people that has it consistently, without any sex. The sex doesn't come into the period.
Yeah, but the reason why you have it is in the event that you get pregnant. So, you know, it's part of
precursor. It's like the precursor to that step.
Anyway, I guess the reason why I'm saying this, maybe this is a bit all lives matter of me. Here we go. Is that, what do you feel about the natural function of men having erections in public?
You can't control it, so
do you feel like there's a
link?
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a similarity there between you can't control your erections in public, you can't control period. As far as I understand it, there's outrage if you have an erection in a room, or if you have an erection. Stop giggling. She's part of the problem, people. She's part of the problem. If you have an erection in a room, or you're in a bus station. I remember when I was standing up at a DLR, Docklands Light Railway in London. If you know what that is, it's a train kind of tram thing. And I was standing up holding the pole, and a woman was just sitting down because it's packed in London. You're shoulder to facing armpit in these carriages. Anyway, she was sitting down in front of me, and I looked at her briefly, because you look around, and then she was basically like moving back as if my crotch was just thrusting in her face. Do you know what I mean? That's not even an erection, that's just normal crotch. Oh dear.
I can just imagine.
Yeah. Normal crotch, you know, and what are you picturing? What the stereotype is? A black guy.
Maybe she's afraid that it would jerk, not you would jerk. The train would jerk, and then you'd just be all up in her face.
I was not that close, you know. Should have just Ricky Martin. She banged. Should have just done that. But I'll get arrested and probably beaten up.
Would.
So I know my.
Maybe she's just a bit like personal space.
I wasn't even that close, man. But she just probably thought it's in my face, you know. And I just feel like, you know, we need to. First of all, just deal with the priority, which is periods are normal. Let's deal with that as a priority. But then we also need to allow men to sometimes have erections in public randomly. Maybe.
But I think
perverts, but go on.
I think that comes, and this is the thing, right?
Men will take the piss. Yeah. Oh, it was natural.
Yeah. How do you prove it? How do you prove it? Because there are exhibitionists, there are people who just get their bits out and start, you know, having a go. I mean, my mum and I have experienced that on the train. It was horrible. But going back to your original question, I think erections are sometimes triggered by some sort of arousal, right? Sexually.
Sometimes, yeah.
And sometimes, I don't know, they just kind of happen during sleep and sort of things, right. Involuntarily. It is involuntary, but like, I don't know. I just feel like the purpose generally of an erection is there's some sort of sexual...
But same thing with periods. You don't have to use your erection and impregnate somebody. You don't have to get pregnant if you have a period. It's the same thing. It's similar, sorry. That's my argument, isn't it?
But a period is a constant cycle that's preparing you for being fertilized, and it can only happen at a specific time of the month. So
it shifts, as you said.
It shifts, but generally it's once a month, and there's a period before that where you're able, you know, when it happens, that you're able to get pregnant, ovulation, whatever. So I feel like it's a lot more rigid and a lot more kind of reliable in that happens for that purpose at that time, whereas an erection is kind of a bit ad hoc, and as you just said, difficult to prove, because sometimes it's involuntary, but sometimes it's very voluntary. So yeah, I think they're a little bit different.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit different. I think the period's definitely the priority. I think there needs to be more understanding and acceptance on both sides. I think you can see on YouTube, there's like a viral clip of a guy that put a fake bulge in his trousers, and women were slyly taking pictures, you know, on the tube, taking pictures. And one woman forgot her flash was on.
No.
It was a woman with these are called a hijab. Only her eyes were showing, right? She was taking a picture of it, you know, the outward showing of, you know, modesty. And so women everywhere, no matter where you're from, what corner of the world, you know, try and show some acceptance and understanding. But men, especially though, men for periods and other women for periods.
I think we all need to be taught in school and even by parents that these things are natural and kind of the different scales of it. So like we just said, you know, the period, what is the cycle and how can it differentiate woman to woman, cycle to cycle, etc. And the same thing with the erections. Like, I think in school we're taught about wet dreams. I'm pretty sure we were, because I remember people giggling in class about it. But that's not like all you can be taught a lot more about, day to day. You know, exactly how we just said, it's ad hoc, or is it voluntary, involuntary, all this kind of stuff. Just have a bit more of an understanding and make it less. I mean, even now I giggle about it, and you know, I'm an adult. Yeah,
you giggle, but you don't necessarily oppress. But I just wanted to bring that angle in, because I just don't think most women have thought of it like that. And also I think there's a lot of men that haven't thought about periods in the way that, you know, you put things forward. Go on.
Sorry. I think another point about that comparison is that the erection thing kind of has connotations of, if it's to be used, it could be oppressive and potentially be unwanted, unconsensual, you know, that whole kind of rape thing. So maybe that's why there's a bit of fear around that, whereas a period is not going to oppress anyone, or, you know, potentially hurt someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a woman who's been sexually assaulted and a man is a bit too close to you and you see their crotch, then you might be afraid.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. I think that's definitely a thing. I think, you know, men in general, just the fact that you are a man, there's that threat. There's a threat.
It's sad, but it's very true.
True, I felt it. Tea break, yeah. So I felt it. You can see in someone's face if they're scared or they're wary of you. And, you know, for me as an intersectional male and black, and I'm a male, could be either
intersectional.
Yeah, exactly. Or sapiosexual. It could be either reason why somebody displaying fear or wariness instantly. But I get it. There's a threat involved basically in every interaction between men and women, whether you're walking past some women on the street, or, you know, men know, or perceptive men know that, like, a woman's wary of them. You know, you can see it on somebody's face and stuff. But
it's something that actually really annoys me as a woman, that I do that. But like, even just walking around, if it's just a guy and I on the street, I'm so like conscious of the fact that it's just, you know, or if it's a few guys, and you're so conscious of it and so like wary and have to think of what could happen, but then you also don't want to be the person that's like labeling a man as a potential predator. It's actually quite complicated.
It's quite paralyzing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can't go out and, you know, well, this is why I advocate for self-defense for women. Men should not attack, I get it, but I don't know, do you want to wait for the world to get to that point, or do you want to just react to it now? Anyway, that's another discussion for another time. We've tangented.
We always tangent.
A little bit.
We should call ourselves the tangenters.
The tangential men, tangential women. No, anyway, so yeah, I think I'm just trying to think. Is there any other things I want to say about it? No, I'll allow people the privacy. People that have told me stuff. So let's just leave that there. But yeah, we've got a long way to go, people. But you know,
intrigued even me now.
Yeah, tell you off camera. We've got a long way to go, people, but I think we really can be the change that we want to see, conversation by conversation. You ain't got to make a YouTube video, although actually, if you type in YouTube periods, there's a whole community of people giving tips and discussions. You go in the comments, I'm on my period too. Like this if you're on your period, you know. So there's a whole online community. Maybe follow that Instagram page, Feminists, which we're following on Instagram. It just talks openly about a lot of women's issues and just gives different angles. You know, there's not a one size fits all perception, except for the fact, in my opinion, that it's natural.
Yeah.
No one should be shamed for doing something that's human they can't help.
And no one should be shamed for, like, sorry, I probably keep going on about this a lot, but it's such a big thing. No one should be shamed for the fact that they have like really consistent periods or inconsistent periods or endometriosis or all these kind of sort of facets of it, because all of that is natural. It might not be easy to deal with, and we know that some kind of situations lead to a lot more pain, cramping, difficulties with fertility, and there are ways that, you know, doctors etc. can help with that, but it is all natural. And I really just want to push that home for women especially, but also for men, because it's so annoying when you see comments when like a lot of men make women feel inadequate because they do have fertility issues due to this etc.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, you know, I feel like the woman's body in general, what women do with their body, what they put into their body, it's such a topic of conversation. And it's even a woman's body is even a battleground for different political parties, believe it or not, in terms of, you know, pro-life, you know, or periods. So the woman's body and the woman's sexuality, it's been this subject of power, and it's been wielded around, not necessarily in women's benefit. It's always maybe to fit a cultural norm or to have control. But, you know, it goes deep. But this is an important facet of it. And you know, we in the West, we've got all these shiny cameras and information, and we're the best, are we? Brexit, are we? Then, you know, we've got to move forward in our mentalities. Why is all this technology advancing and our minds aren't? You get me?
Something that just came to my head is, why is all this stuff advancing and the men still don't have a birth control pill? But anyway, we won't go into that.
Yeah, that'll be a good one when it gets launched.
Oh, they won't do it because they want everything to be the woman's fault.
No, I'd love to explore that topic separately. We'll save them from another
tangent.
But yeah, people, I think that's a summary, unless you've got anything else to add.
No, it's just go and read, you know, talk to people. I think don't be afraid of asking questions, whether it's your mum or your sister, cousin, because if you ask, even if they're a bit like, oh, you're asking this question, people are more likely to talk about it. A woman is not going to just start ranting and raving and explaining her periods to you just because that's unfortunately not the way the world works. But also, as we said before, some people are a lot more private than others. But if you're curious, you know, how do things work? How do you feel? I mean, I've had some interesting questions over the years about like the difference between me sneezing normally versus me sneezing on a period, all these kind of weird and wonderful questions. I think if we're all just a bit more open, then it becomes less sort of ew and less gross. And yeah, it's not gross, it's the sort of precursor to a beautiful thing if that's what people want, you know, to get pregnant and have babies, and that's what keeps the world going round. So yeah.
Who run the world? Periods. Kind of thing. It supplies the workforce for the next generation. Right, people, we've been Love Uncut.
So cynical.
The workforce. Oh, sorry, the beautiful life force, the little cherub joy. Right, people, this has been Love Uncut. Thank you for watching and making it this far. If you did, we'll be back at next Sunday. We'll be back next Sunday at 6 o'clock. Definitely like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling the vibe.
Have a nice weekend. No, week. Bye.
With that.